got enemies. So Emmanuel's come out with a new EP titled Ameer Vann. That's not what that is. Ameer Vann has come out with a new EP titled Emmanuel. And yeah, I've been waiting on it, man. I knew it was coming one day. I think I said it a long time ago. He's probably going to start a solo career, and we're going to hear from him again. And what do you know? He's back. He's back in the news, back in the headlines, back in our hearts. Not really. I know he's done a lot, but my ears are for listening, not for judging and making assumptions. So I would like to hear the man out. I would like to hear what he's got to say. I would like to hear any rebuttals, any regrets, any apologies, any new mindsets, any new pitfalls, any of these emotions that have been clouding him for the past year and a half since his departure from BrockHampton back in 2018. I would like to hear illustrated within this new EP. Not to say that I'm expecting too much. I just want to see an update. I just want to hear where he's at right now, hear what he's been working on, and that's really it, you know. I know a lot of people are upset with the man, but I'm not going to be too harsh. Like I said, I'm not going to pretend like this man's actions have affected me directly. I would like to think that he's atoned for his sins when it comes to the people directly, especially the women that he claims he affected. That is a point of contention for me. But I will continue on with this dude's music, and we'll see what he's got to deliver. I know a lot of people have told me there's a couple of songs on here that are standouts, but I want to hear for myself. So, without further ado, Emmanuel from Ameer Vann. Ameer Vann from Emmanuel. Let's give it a listen, man. First track is titled Emmanuel. Is the bass like the heartbeat? All right, you let me know.
Hard to self-reflect, make the world a better place. I put a bullet in, steady running from the past. Ain't no little piece of heaven, all these demons that I have. I am made up of mistakes, I'll start going down the list. I'm a product of my father, the loser. I see darkness all around me. Put my soul into the music, I am always...
I'm sorry, yeah. See, this is about what I wanted to hear. This is easily what I wanted him to talk about, especially as an intro to this new lane, this new EP. Saying at one point that he is a product of his environment to a degree, I feel is kind of, redirecting where the blame should go. I do think that. Another thing about that line, I think he says, I put my soul in the music. This is why I didn't have a problem with him addressing any of this in his music, because this is therapeutic for a lot of people. It could be like a session for him. So I don't have a problem with him putting his thoughts out in music format, because it's hard to verbalize how you feel sometimes in person or just through regular conversation. So I don't mind that.
When I saw violence in my home, I seen shit I can't forget. It's so hard to end it all. I want to try to make it right. Pains and many issues. This my written crucifixion. I'ma sing a song today.
Damn. I mean, like I said, not really too hot on the whole I'm accepting responsibility for what I did, but at the same time, I'm going to tell you about why I did it, because at the end of the day, there's really no reason as to why. I get it. You know, we all come, okay, if we're going based off that logic, you know, there's so many people that I know, and myself included, that come from extremely shitty backgrounds that don't feel the need to, I guess, regurgitate or, you know, put out what we've been given by the world and by other people and by our environment. You know, if that were the case, then we'd all be singing the same sob story. And that's something that I don't particularly agree with, the way he's describing, like, you know, it was my father, it was my sister, you know, I had a hard upbringing, I had this, I had that. It's really no excuse, but I do, you know, want people to acknowledge where these things stem from and where they come from and where they start from. Instrumental here is really tart. It's it seems like there's a lot of space to this song, like he's in his own head, you know, pacing, going back and forth. Let's go to the next track. Pop Tunk Trunk, not Tunk Trunk. That shit just rings in my ears.
This my eulogy, dig into the roots of me, look into a serpent's eyes. I
wasn't expecting the bass to come in like that.
Rest when I rest in peace, go see the gates, lay me down.
Oh no!
Bang, screw, pop trunk outside your residence.
Wait, he said I'm not a boy in a band? Okay, no. This is what you're not gonna do, okay? We're not gonna start a diss war. This is not what we're doing.
Like something more than all this we experience. Delusion from many men, car wash from a fiend. You see the blood, I'd rather die on my feet than to live on my knees.
A lot of y'all not gonna feel the impact of some of these, man. But again, it's no excuse. See, I feel like that I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees is like a double entendre for like, yeah, I'd rather die with pride than to die as a, and I won't say that because someone's begging for their life that makes him a coward. I'm not gonna say that, but it's almost like I'd rather stand and die on my feet, meaning like I'd rather accept the hate and the consequence for what I've done than constantly live begging for people's forgiveness. You know, it's so much more layered than a lot of what some of these lines can be taken as at the surface. And also like just, you know, going to sleep. You know, I don't sleep, and the only time I feel at peace is when I got my peace with me. At least at some point you can fire back, but the peace isn't just like a literal gun. It's also like my voice. Like I can fire back with my voice. You know, as long as I have this is my freedom of expression. This is my tool. This is my weapon. It's a little eerie in a way. Not really. It's very dark, and it doesn't necessarily have like this, I want to say, like catchiness to it. But, you know, I'm a fan of dark music. I'm really a fan of when people's settings match their mindset. Like the instrumentals here really are helping to deliver this kind of dark and cloudy atmosphere. Track number 3 is Glock 19. Let's get into it, man.
You don't want to see me without my medication. I got bottles of pills that keep me from going crazy.
I mean, what you want me to do at this point? I'm being assaulted.
Vision is melting, really, I feel it fading. Shit till they get shot back like that. You don't want to end up like that, like that. Flip it, then I bring it right back. Like I don't need a bank when I got a rubber band. Pockets kinda heavy, money in my pants. Heart still heavy, I've been biting.
I don't feel alone because the drugs is my friend. No, we can't have you with a gun and doing drugs. This isn't the right combination. All right, so that really ghostly vocal sample or usage in the background makes this song and this track really haunting. It is a really regular standard trap beat, much like the one before it, but I do think it really adds to this demented kind of, you know, mentally and spiritually hollow shell that we're getting from Ameer right now. He's rapping in a pretty, I won't say terrible space, but in a space where he's comfortable. There are a lot of lines here that can be taken as him replacing the former members of BrockHampton with these other things that may offer him some sort of solace, like, you know, the drugs are my friends now. Like, there's so many moments of seclusion in the production and moments of seclusion in his lines that are accompanied with other lines that make it seem like he's adding new friends by adding these unsafe substances or maybe these weapons just to kind of circle himself with protection in some way. Track number 4 is Los Angeles.
I fell in love with Los Angeles. I lost my friends to Los Angeles. Man, it's crazy how they deal with you. Talk about it like they still with you. Use my name as a meal ticket. They don't want to see.
Listen. Whoa. Oh, man. He's so wrong. He's so wrong for what he just said. He is. But as I said before, if Brockhampton is allowed to allude to their relationship with him in their music, he's allowed to make a rebuttal and respond with his. Do I agree with what he just said? Not really. He could be saying what he's saying in a way to kind of illustrate the importance that he might have had in the role of Brockhampton, which a lot of people take for quote unquote granted. They, you know, might say that he wasn't that important to the group at all. Me personally, when it comes to their newer sound, I definitely don't think he would fit over it, but I can't say that he isn't a product of like the influence that ultimately ended up changing their sound a little bit. I can't say that, you know, his departure didn't change the group in a way, because it significantly did. But I wouldn't necessarily say to the extent that they're using his name as a meal ticket by making a track about the closing chapter of him and making a track about, you know, essentially departing from him. But again, in the same track, he says, you know, these are the thoughts of a bipolar man. I'm you know, clearly he's not in his right mind. He's angry, he's upset, he's confused. I mean, you did this, and this is the, you know, pretty much consequence to said actions. But, you know, I still, like I said, I'm not closing my ears off to human emotions. You're still going to be fearful, upset. You're not going to be happy about this decision. You're not just going to be totally understanding. He also said he lost his friends to Los Angeles, so it's just kind of like him saying that they went Hollywood. Again, I don't know the full dynamics of their relationship, so it's hard to say.
I am still a danger to myself. Still might grab a stainless off the shelf.
All right, Los Angeles. These are more strong tracks. Again, I'm listening more for content here. The instrumental choices could be a little bit more varied because what I'm getting so far is pretty much standard trap shit with a bunch of heavy bass, a bunch of 808s. So, you know, we can move on beyond that. But as far as content is concerned, we're really going through the motions of just regret and anxiety and remorse that he may have had on the intro track that kind of glides into this distractions from maybe what he did, another reason to kind of shroud himself with new defense, which may come in the form of weapons on Glock 19. Then on this new track, it's almost like he's going back and acknowledging everything. Maybe he's spending too much time with these possessions that he thinks are protecting him now, and he's lashing back out at the people that he feels may have caused him indirect pain, but really it was just pain caused by himself. Track number 5 is Sunday Night.
My cousin got life for the China White. I'ma make a meal for 25. Right around supposed to stick up for they family, but we see they don't. I got all that gutter in that meaning that they fiending for.
Oh,
see they
God,
don't. I got
man.
all that gutter in that meaning.
Oh, so that track solidifies that, you know, he feels somewhat, which I mean, I like, it's tough. All of it's tough. I don't want people that are hypersensitive even discussing subjects like this because they have no idea the intricacies of what a relationship beyond meeting someone off fucking Twitter means. But it's, I don't know how long they've been interconnected. I don't know how long they've been a collective or established as a group. So it'd be really difficult for me to talk about what they should or shouldn't have done. Him feeling somewhat betrayed in a way for them maybe not having his back, or there's a lot of layers to that. But I mean, like I said, you did what you did. Where I do agree with him is I got all that gutter and that meaning they've been feeding for. Ever since his departure, a lot of people have said that they've been unsatisfied with the subject matter and the overall, you know, aesthetic of BrockHampton. You know, it went from this a lot more emotionally sensitive material. And not to say that, you know, Ameer brought a lot of depth to the group, because he definitely had his specific, you know, sound and his specific lane. But for people who like that, in most, I won't say most, but a lot of people who are into hip hop in general, that is the foundation of it, you know. So I feel like when a lot of people felt when he left, it was like a piece of their hip hop element left with him. This is definitely, in my opinion, probably going to stir up some like Ameer and Dom back and forth though, because I don't see him just like letting him shoot these lines off and letting him get away with it. I don't see it. Last track is Plastic. I gotta say, these tracks sound appropriate, even though I'm not the hugest fan of all of the production.
Can't think straight, but I still learn. Cow tape aim, but I still ran. Hope it ain't me if I get shot. Don't put my face on a t-shirt.
Hope it ain't.
More, but
No. Be quiet. Hope it ain't me if I get shot, man. Damn. Oh, Jesus. Why? I hope I'm not the one to take myself out. Yeah, so that was that was Ameer Vann's Emmanuel EP, and I think that's a pretty good representation of about what I needed from him. I would like to say that it would be, in a perfect world, this what fans would want apology EP, but I didn't expect that. I didn't want him to do that. I wanted him to be honest, and I wanted him to be truthful with himself. And to a certain degree, he is blowing off some of the criticism that should go his way by addressing it in a way that makes it seem like his environment is what caused some of the decisions that he's made. It certainly hasn't made it easy for him to walk a straight and narrow path like maybe some of the other members of BrockHampton, and like some of the fan base, actually majority of the fan base, that actually have no idea what, you know, Ameer Vann's background might be like. But it is, at the end of the day, no excuse. You do have to learn from these things, and people need time to learn and to grow from their mistakes and from their regrets. I understand and get that, but let's not make the mistake of using the background as the reason for these things when you have as he said, tasted the good life, and you were in a position where you didn't need to do these things as much anymore or at all. I do wish that he may have explored a couple more flows on this project, and the instrumental palette was a little bit more varied. But again, I do think it fits him really well. As he said, and I do have to agree with him, you know, they've been missing or fiending for that gutter and that depth or whatever he was trying to say. Not to give him the credit for having the most introspective lyrics in a group ever, but I do think when it comes to Brockhampton, he added an edginess and a maturity to the group that was beyond just this teenage rebellions. I did need something a little bit more reality setting, a little bit more grounded in what's really going on, something that is a little bit more commonplace. At least for me, the teenage experience might have been more commonplace for everyone else, but for me personally, I think I really enjoyed and got a kick out of when he was delivering that gutter to Brockhampton. The EP here is really telling. We do get a lot of information. I do not see Brockhampton just sitting quietly and watching this come out. I'm not entirely sure on whether or not this is the best way for him to handle his emotions when addressing the issues here. He has expressed regret and remorse, but to expect him to sit in that space the entire EP, I didn't expect it. You know, this is the product of emotional transitions, you know, switching out your friends for these possessions, for drugs, for money, for weapons, and you're just kind of dealing with it, dealing with backlash, dealing with hate. Again, I'm not gonna sit here and act like if someone did something wrong, I would expect them to just be everyone's punching bag for the rest of their life. I just don't expect that. So that's about where I'm at with this new Brockhampton EP. Jesus Christ! Wow, that was a legit mistake. That's about how I'm feeling with this Ameer Vann Emmanuel EP. And yeah, if I had to rate it, I'd probably give it like probably a low 7, probably like a low 7. I like it. I do like it. It does have some replay value for me. I think if he worked a little bit more on his hook game, a little bit more on his melodies, and a little bit more on his instrumental choicing here, he definitely would have a strong future, I think. But this is a good indication of what I liked from him from the beginning, from the get-go, and I'm excited to see where it goes. If you don't like him, or if you don't want to see him succeed, or you don't want to hear from him anymore, I don't see anything wrong with expressing that sentiment. But at the same time, I also see an issue with if you don't support or rock with someone, why you keep talking about them. That's something I just don't support, you know. So as a fan, if you're gonna do that, don't. That's where I'm at. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time. You let me know how you thought about the EP. And yeah, pretty good. I like it.